Hello, hey all, Auto McLean here. I'm going to continue on with Skimna's story, though. This will be part 3. This will tie up the mostly of the loose ends before it goes into his main story of Flursick. This is his backstory again. Recap is that he's now got Reaper energy. He is actually part of Reaper. He has now left his hilt with Veldost to give to Otto in the future. And he is now just protecting the world and being its Reaper, essentially. That is what it left off at. Okay, part 3. Now, this one's going to be a little bit quicker than the rest. Yeah, it's actually simply now. Okay, Skimna's out the Reaper of the world. He has now more energy to control. He now has access to all previous dead spirits and all that stuff. He has access to the well. He has access to shadow energy, death energy, blood energy, everything like that that's possible. He has now memory of every rune that's living. Because, again, the Reaper that gave him powers that he got memories from was a Reaper that's been around forever. It was like millions of years, all that, well, billions of years, essentially. And this Reaper just decided that Skimna was the next one that needed the powers. And the Reaper, yeah, he was a Reaper Lord. And now Skimna has control of all the other Reapers of the world. Occasionally, if he needs extra power, which he doesn't really need extra power, he'll steal from them instead of everything else. He also learns that the world is about to end in a few years. In around 2008, it's going to go, the moon's going to come alive, attack the world, and make it go kablooey. So he got a mental link with Otto, picking up the sword and the hilt in 2003 from Veldos, because Veldos and Otto are actually cousins. They were good friends. So Skimna not knowing, Veldos is technically related to him too, in a way. So every so often, Otto will just get a ping in his head about Skimna talking to him. It's like, what the hell? Who's trying to talk to me? So it took Otto like almost 4 years before he realized that how to communicate with Skimna. Skimna's like tried so much. It took Skimna touching him on the back to get spiritual energy for Otto to realize that. Now, Skimna's awesome and all, but communicating with living creatures is not his forte anymore. He's way too close to the line between worlds right now. It's like if he takes one step over, he could be in the outer limits of the Vel. But yeah, so he's hard to see now. He's like moving at a constant vanish at all times. So it's like he's going light speed 24/7. Actually has to continually catch up with himself for people to see him if he wants to actually let people see him. But he also could concentrate his spirits and let people see his spirits. So he communicates through them mainly more than anything, especially the ones he has as his spirits. His main ones are still there. Darkrai, his mother, or his last name, his sword's name now, is now way more attuned to the Vel than ever. So she's actually a guardian of the Vel. And guardians of the Vel are pretty damn badass. So he gave her more powers. She gave him powers of immortality. Now he's immortal himself, being the Reaper. Only way to get rid of him. Oh yeah, I should tell you this too. The previous Reaper that gave him powers is actually still around. He's just living a normal life. He could actually age if he wants to. The original Reaper is more or less mortal, but he can make himself not mortal, if that makes sense. It's a matter of decision. Okay. Skimna, on the other hand, can't figure out. Again, he's pretty much part of the Vel and everywhere at once and nowhere at the same time. So telling Otto that the world's, well, he can't really say that the world's ending, but he tells him prepare ways, and he's like, "Oh wait, you have those plants. Okay, so Otto got plants gifted to him. Skimna knows about these plants because he has memories of pretty much everything. They're DNA-like plants, and he knows Otto actually has capabilities to go to another world and sustain himself if he has the right type of suit or time things. Essentially, he tells Otto how to create a black hole and live within the black hole if he has the right suit. He needs a very good life support suit that could provide its own oxygen, light, food source, stuff like that. Skimna also knows of rich materials to start the world that could just grow off of themselves. Of course, mainly trees and death-riddled stuff. He actually was one to teach Otto about blackened trees, which are pretty much death trees that got burned alive but are actually still able to grow. Like, good examples is your trees that survived Hiroshima for us. Those, I don't even remember the name. I know there's mainly birchberry. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And then he talked about a blood rose tree, which was actually created by the original reapers, and they're only found in caverns, like way deep underground, like the point of near frozen to like extreme heat from the core. So he learned about those ones, and they legitimately live off of decay and blood and death. Fire even helps them out occasionally. More of the blackened trees are fine with fire. But this is still an earth realm, so these ones are transferred over to the Flursick when wood is like put to the extreme. Like it has to withstand how to grow in a black hole, essentially, gravity put to the max, time is frozen, there's a rip in time getting spread apart there. So the black hole theory for him is a little different than what most people know. So I just took little parts. I have studied black hole theory for many years, but I just took little parts that would actually occur in my game properly. I don't know why I'm straying that far, and it's just something to say. So Skimna explained this stuff, and now the hilt is always on Otto. Always. In his pocket, on his belt in there, or in his Kendo hilt. Sometimes he occasionally forgets his Kendo practice sword, so it's in there. Otto's now in his 50s, so he's about to turn 56 when 2008 hits. So he's not necessarily a spring chicken anymore, but he's still really physically fit and really smart. Skimna, yes, I'm trying to tie this all together, and there's a point. Now, Skimna is keeping the world going. He's collecting his spirits, giving Otto advice, attuning to the moon, so when it does destroy, there'll be plenty enough souls and stuff to go to the next world. But they won't have their memories and tied to them, so they'll be technically just tied to his shadow realm. They'll just be living embodiments to give you movement. It's essentially all the souls do, so they're next to useless to him. But Otto himself discovered a way to save memories just from touching people, and it gets saved to his watch right there, and then and it could be bestowed upon empty vessels. So essentially he figured out a cloning device, but he didn't know how to make clones at the time. Otto, that is, not Skimna. So Skimna doesn't know this, but he learned it quick, because again, Skimna has eyes everywhere, and he hears everything, gets memories from everyone, so of course he learned. And Annie herself has now disappeared. She's a real traveler, and now she's a dimension traveler. You don't need to know much about Annie because, yeah. Just leave it at that. Yeah. But Skimna did get a name. It's like, I like that name. Actually, pretty much the world goes boom. Then Otto's like transfers as much stuff into the black hole as possible. There's a world there. The hilt gets stabbed into the black tree, along with all Skimna's essence gets put in there, so the tree is just bleeding and dark energy coming out of it. So Skimna's last spot in the Earth realm was him seeing the world get blown up, all his souls getting collected into the one spot, getting dragged into the black hole that Otto created. It's just a mini black hole. Still enough to suck stuff up in there, and then just stuck in a tree, and then he's just waiting for Otto to awaken him. So that's the end of Skimna's Earth realm story there, pretty much. Next on is his main story of Flursick, where he becomes one of the truest firstborns, becomes the Death Lord, maintains all the souls collected through there, helps people collect their memories. Every time someone dies, he gives them a chance to come right back. He's pretty much one of the gods of Flursick now, one of the firstborns. And yeah, that sums it up for Skimna. If you want anything else, leave it in the comments or just ask me. Likes are welcome. I'd love extra subscribers. I'm just starting out again. I used to have an older channel, used to make AMVs and all that stuff, but now I'm just gonna stick to my stories from my characters and all that stuff. I Make Flursick is a game I created. I thoroughly enjoy making it. I have a few friends that love playing it. If you're ever interested or you want to see it go out in the road, just please let me know. Mcline, peace out. Have a wonderful life, y'all.